quality of this is kind of weird. We're not going to talk about it. I am not sure how useful this video is going to be, but I know that when I was joining the military, and I still don't leave for boot for another 5 weeks, exactly 5 weeks today. But when I was joining and getting ready for MEPS, hold on. Alright, so when I was joining and getting ready for MEPS, YouTube was my go-to. So it was an experience. So I did get to swear in. I leave for the Navy in 5 weeks. So I'm going to talk about my MEPS experience today. I just bit my tongue. I'm going to talk about my MEPS experience today and how it went, and hopefully it'll help somebody. I'm going to start logging my Navy journey and process and making videos about it all the way up until I retire from the Navy, which may be 5 years, maybe 8, maybe 10. I don't know. I'm just going to see how much I like it. Maybe I'll stay in. Who knows? I blabber too much, so we're just going to... The day I left for MEPS, it was like, I think it was midday. It wasn't early morning. It was like noon-ish. I got to the MEPS. I didn't get to MEPS. I got to my recruiting office where my recruiter, shout out to him, I'm not going to say his name because private information, but he's the best. He didn't go with me the day of, but he met me there the day after. I had some recruiter, I had no idea who it was. So it kind of felt a little awkward and weird, but you're going to have a lot of that when you get into the military. So I was just like, okay, along for the ride. And for some reason, I don't know, I was very uncomfortable the entire car ride, and I got car sick. I didn't get car sick, but I was getting like nauseous on the way down. But yeah, I got to MEPS around like noon. There was another girl who I didn't really know at all, which she's actually one of my favorite people now. I'm not going to say her name for privacy reasons either, but if she sees this, I love you. Her and I were going down together, and before we left the office, my recruiter asked me if I had my social security card, and I think my birth certificate. And I said no to both because the week before they had photocopied both of them, and I thought, oh, they have them, I don't need them. And I literally had this conversation with myself before I left my house, and I had them on my bed, and I was like, I'm just going to leave them here. I don't need them. Wrong. You definitely need those types of things for anything you do with the military. Just have it. Have it. And I just almost had a panic attack, so I was like, wait a second, do I still have it? And it's in my folder up there for when I leave for boot camp. But yes, whenever you do something with the military, have your photo ID. You'll get your military ID once you join, but your social security card, your birth certificate, things like that, like you're gonna need them. Don't assume you don't need them because you do, especially going to MEPS. So then, 20 minutes away from my house, and my recruiter calls the recruiter I was with and was like, turns out she doesn't need it, you're good, go to this place, which was a separate place before MEPS. We picked up another boy, which him and I aren't as close. I do have his number. Oh, this is me realizing I got a new number. No, I have a Snapchat. Okay, shout out to him too, because he's pretty cool. He reminded me of my best friend I've had since freshman year of high school. So we got him, and then we got to MEPS. And they haven't, like, sworn in yet. The female I was with, bless her heart, she ended up getting the long test, like the redo test, instead of just her, the short 30-question test to make sure you didn't cheat, blah, 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 blah. And then she went back recently, and she was still a little bit over her weight limit, which, bless her soul, she'll get there, I know she will. They both just came to take their proof I didn't cheat test and go home. So we all did that. We did our proof I didn't cheat test, and then they all left, the recruiter and the two people I was with. And I sat in that waiting room, waiting for the charter bus to pick me up to take me to the hotel for 4 hours. 4 hours. You're not allowed to have your phone unless you're in the cafeteria area, which we weren't eating. And at one point, 2 boys who went into the cafeteria area got yelled at and told to go back into the waiting room. So I just stayed put because I'm just going to do the best I can whenever I'm dealing with the military to not get yelled at. So I just sat there, and they had a TV on that was playing some weird dance movie. I don't even know what it was called, and it wasn't really that interesting, but it kept my mind busy while I was waiting. So I sat there, and I watched this movie, and waited, and waited, and waited. And at one point, I, pulled my phone out of my pocket, and I was like, I think I tried to text my mom, and it didn't work, because I don't have service anyway, so I sat and waited some more. And finally, the bus gets there, they made the announcement that the charter bus was there, and I got up, and I followed all of these people who were also going to the bus outside, grabbed my stuff from the locker room, and we lined up and we got on the bus. And I sat by myself. This whole process was very awkward, because I feel like everyone there had a friend except me, because I was the only one from my recruiting office actually going to MEPS. So I sat by myself in the front of the bus. I took a seat far to the window in front, trying to avoid contact because I'm a shy person. I'm gonna have to get out of that, but I sat in front of the bus, and it took 25 minutes to get to the hotel, and we were in Baltimore area, and I'm not used to that area, so I kind of looked around, and it was kind of cool, and it was a nice hotel when we got there, so I was very thrilled, except it was a huge hotel, and I got lost. So I'm sitting in my room. I finally found my room with the help of this girl she was a sweetheart. I don't know her name at all, but she had the room across from me. And she ended up asking to use my 100% acetone nail polish remover because she had some nail polish on her fingers. And I had brought some because I had acrylics, which I do now. And I needed to take them off, which, by the way, did not work very well. You have to, soak them in acetone, so I highly request getting them, professionally removed before you go to MEPS, or doing them at home. Doing them the night at the hotel was, I tried to do them at home and it failed, so I would just get them professionally removed unless you really know what you're doing. I probably shouldn't have gotten these again. Probably going to regret it, but I'm going to get them professionally removed this time. Little to say the least, I got at least the nail polish off, so they were clear see-through, so they could at least see my nail beds, which I don't think they even checked. But I would still remove them just in case, because that's a big thing. So just make sure you have no nail polish on, and try to get your acrylics off. Most of my acrylic was off. I just had little clumps that oh, by the way, it didn't come off for months after that because I just completely ruined my nail beds. So, and then I finally got most of them off at 9 o'clock, 9:30, and lights out is at 10. So then I'm going to try and get dinner, and I get lost. It took me 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes to find the dinner area. And I was I called my mom. I was in tears because I was starving. I hadn't eaten since breakfast that morning. So I was starving, and I didn't have food in my system, and I was crying because I couldn't find it. And so, it was just a terrible experience. But I finally found it. Their dinner wasn't that good. I had chicken nuggets and fries because everything else was kind of oh, I don't know if I'd eat that, which I'm going to have to get used to anyway because boot camp, you're going to eat it or you're going to starve. I ate it. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I ate it. Their breakfast was amazing though. So after that, I went up to my room. When I left my room, I didn't have a roommate. When I came back, my roommate was there. She was there just to, I think, to ship out. I can't remember. She said she had been to MEPS 4 times. And she was a sweetheart too. I kept asking her questions, and I was probably very annoying, but she was a sweetheart, and she was answering all my questions and, helping me out. So, bless her soul too. I met a lot of friendly people. You get nervous when you're around people if you've got if you're an introvert like I am. But a lot of people are not mean. They're genuinely sweet people. So don't get nervous if you're like me and you don't like being outgoing around new people. It was we have to turn the lights out now because I have learned my lesson about going to sleep on time. And I was okay, that's fine. I laid in my bed until 10:30 texting my friends and family. Telling them about my day because, Lord, I missed them, which is so weird and kind of bad because I'm going to boot camp for 2.5 months and, man, I'm really going to miss them, but I'm excited. So around 10:30, I passed out. I had to be up at 4 in the morning. Like, she went downstairs with me after we packed all of our stuff up, and she ate breakfast with me. And we split off once we got off the bus. Like, she sat on the bus with me, too, I think. No, she sat in front of me on the bus back to MEPS. But, like, she ate breakfast with me, so I wasn't alone. And she was just so sweet. It was amazing. Got back to MEPS. They did the whole check-up process. They did my sight. No, they did my sight first, then my hearing. They did my background check after that. And to make sure I didn't have any medical problems. They did my blood work. There was another female who was in the Navy doing the blood work, and she talked to me and asked why I joined the Navy. And I told her all my reasons. I'll make a separate video about that if this video gets popular and people ask. And after blood work, we went back and, they did the physical checkup. Like back, knees, hands, toes, weird duck walk thing. And then they did the physical checkup. And they do your P-test to make sure you're not on drugs or alcohol. At one point, they did have us take a breathalyzer. Like, I think that was the first thing they did once we got to MEPS after the hotel the next morning, to make sure none of us went out and drank the night before, which this one dude literally not only flunked his breathalyzer test, but flunked it bad. And it's literally like the night before, they told you not to drink alcohol when you got to the hotel, and it's like, you're joining the military and you're drinking alcohol when you know you're getting breathalyzed the next day. I just couldn't comprehend the amount of stupid that was, I guess. I don't want to say stupid, but like, you should have known better. But they do all of that, and when I got my weight checked, turns out the Navy doesn't really have a minimum weight, but the lady who checked my weight, she was super rude to all of us. Like, she called the one girl who was with us fat, and it kind of really made me mad. Like, she didn't say it nicely. If she had said it, like, in a different tone or something, like, honey, you're a little over the weight limit, you need to take it, like, you need to, lose some weight. The one girl who was with us, she was the one who got called fat. She had been there 7 times. And, was it 7? I think it was either 6 or 7. And she was just fed up with it. And then she failed again to door weight. And I just felt terrible. I just felt awful. And the woman was so rude. And she said I wasn't going to pass because of my weight. And then I went in to get my physical checkup. And the woman who was in there actually was super sweet. And she asked if I thought I passed. And I said, I don't know. Because the woman out there said something about my weight. And she looked at me and she goes, the Navy doesn't have any minimum weight requirements, sweetie. You passed. That feeling was the best feeling. After being at MEPS in the hotel for 2 days straight, and literally it took me from 4 a.m. to like 4 p.m. to get all of that stuff checked. It was just an incredible relief feeling. And then walking out of that room and seeing my parents sitting in the room waiting to see me swear in was another amazing feeling. Like, I was just like, oh, my parents, I missed you. Even though, again, gonna be away from them for a long time, so I better get used to that. But, and my mom, it was so funny. Like, I walked out, like, my recruiter told me, and I really took his advice on this one, and you should take it too. Like, when you're in MEPS, walk straight up, shoulders back, and walk like you mean business. Because if you walk like you mean business, they will take you seriously. Like, it just helps you. It just helps. And I was walking like that. And my mom made some kind of comment, like, when we got back in the car, she was like, you never walk like that. And I was kind of scared, I'm not going to lie. And I'm like, just wait till I get out of boot camp, because, man, my posture is going to change. Wow. So then I swore in, which for some reason I found to be a very awkward process. I don't know why, because my name was like longer, or was it longer? I think it was longer or shorter than the rest of them. So I was like the last person talking, so I think it was longer than the rest of them. And I was like, oh, everyone heard my voice. I'm shy. I need to get out of that. After we swore in, we went back into the room, signed our contracts, took our pictures again. And then I went back out, took pictures with my recruiter, and then we left MEPS. I got the school shirt and the school hat. It's over there. I actually just packed up my room mostly. So everything I'm either taking to A school or wearing until I leave for boot camp is right there. I'll make other videos on that another time, maybe. Depends on if you ask or not. I don't care. But we got Chick-fil-A, and then we came back home, and I passed out because I was exhausted. So MEPS wasn't a bad experience. It does teach you that the military is a lot of hurry up and wait type of thing, but it's not a bad experience if you get my gist. But yeah, no, besides the 4-hour wait for my bus the day before, it wasn't a bad experience. So that was my MEPS experience. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm not used to this whole YouTube thing yet, but I'm planning on starting it up because I want to log my Navy journey. If you have any questions and I get enough questions, I'll do a Q&A, or if you want a video about what to pack for boot camp or A school. I'm not very knowledgeable on that yet, but I will tell you guys what I am bringing to boot camp and what I'm packing for A school. And that's about it. See you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine.